All right. Let's get this out of the way first. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed on Tailboard Talks Firefighter podcast are solely those of the speakers, guests, and host, and do not in any way represent the thoughts or views or opinions of any other employer, partnership, or sponsor. The material and information in this podcast is for general information purposes only and should be used at the listener's discretion. Go for it.
All right, guys, we are doing a special little talk right now. John from Rescue One CBD and Stephanie White from Firefighter Nation are at FDIC right now. They're doing a talk together that talks about cannabis in the fire service. Unfortunately, had a little bit of feedback, not great feedback on the social medias.
They got a lot of terrible feedback on social media.
Yeah, so we're super excited to talk to them about this, especially since I think that we could both agree is something that we actually highly support in the fire service, especially because a CBD can help with all sorts of different things, not just, the mental health aspect, but a lot of injuries, because we're all very prone to injuries in this service. So we're super excited to talk to them. Again, John from Rescue One CBD, they have a code you can use, Tailboard. You get 15% off to go ahead and grab some of his stuff. Please, you guys should try it. And let's go ahead and get them on right now so that we can talk to them.
Don't say anything awesome yet. All right, now we're recording. Now you can say as much awesome stuff as you want.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, man, you guys are saving our bacon, man. So where are you? This is the bubble? Is this the bubble thing that...
No, this is not the bubble. This is the health and wellness stage. The bubble actually looks like a bubble. We call it the fish bowl.
The fish bowl, that's what you're talking about.
This is not the fish bowl. There's no glass walls so people can peer in.
Yeah.
Okay. Follow-up question, Stephanie. Why don't you look like you're working at a speakeasy today? Why'd you downplay the hooch service?
My favorite comments yesterday were probably the Wolf of Wall Street or the unfortunate Larry King, and that one really hurt.
Larry King's good. I could say
that one was,
Paula Poundstone.
Girl can't wear a tie. Well, I think it was the suspenders and the tie that did me in. So that will never be happening again. Yeah.
It had strong Paula Poundstone
you wear it better than anyone else.
Or Marionette.
It was sheer jealousy that got me all the comments.
Ventriloquist puppet too. Also, that was a good one that I saw come across. Now, you guys. John, you look great all the time. I'm not going to ever say anything bad about.
Hey, thanks, man.
He glows.
Yeah, no problem.
It's all the sleep he gets from
a lot of CBD.
CBD.
From CBD, but
ruthless plug.
Yeah, no, it's going to happen. Stephanie, I want to ask both of you guys a question. Why are you guys trying to get so many people to retire from the fire service by forcing drugs into their fire station?
I'm glad you finally get it. Yeah, that's it. We're just
must have a lot of relatives in the testing pool or something that you want to get them through the ranks, and you're pushing these old guys out. What's the deal?
It's the opposite. We're trying to elongate careers. I just listen. I'm on my fourth debilitating injury, and I'm sick and tired of every time I go to the doctor, I'm given one option, and that's an opioid. And I live in Virginia, Southwest Virginia. Most people think Ohio. Southwest Virginia is where the opioid epidemic started. So it's something that is it does make me very nervous anytime a doctor says, here, take this opioid. And I know what they were designed and how they were designed. So I've always stayed away from it and just pushed through some horrible injuries. And I don't know if anyone's ever lived with spinal injury out there, but you kind of turn into an a-hole when you're in pain all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm already a little bit of a not so nice person.
Get out of here. That is one thing when I do my presentations on back injuries, I say that back injuries are unlike any other because like a shoulder injury or a knee injury, you can tell someone hey, I want you to try this. And they'll be like, okay, I think it's going to hurt, but I'll give it a shot. And with a back injury, they'll just nope, I'm not doing that. There's just there's no negotiation. There's no trial. It's just, I'm not doing that because it's so debilitating. Well, good. I was glad to see that because the feedback you got on Facebook was not reflective of.
I couldn't believe that. I was like, are we living in the same time? I could not believe the comments on there. That's insane to me. People don't research, don't understand all these things that are coming out about CBD, THC, all everything is it's a neuroprotectant. It's not just for injuries. It helps injuries a lot, but it's also a neuroprotectant. It helps people with their sleep. It helps people with all these things, Parkinson's, all these things that we're actually more at risk for in the fire service. Oxidative stress, everything, it helps all of that. So it's just so, it blows my mind that people don't keep up with like research on this and that this is still a problem. But they'd be glad to go to a doctor and be prescribed a Xanax to sleep, an opioid for their pain, or now we're all on antidepressants and that wreak havoc with other side effects. It's just insane to me. I can't believe the people who commented on there.
So that's something, John, like you've gotten that. You've gotten that mostly because your product is confused with THC a lot, right?
Right.
So like, how did you decide then, after trying to draw that line for so long of like, we're not THC, we're safe for the job, 0.000, all this stuff, then how did you make the leap then to presenting on using cannabis in the name of the thing you're presenting? Because I could see that being like, not a conflict, but you're bringing it back in and saying, look, I'm willing to put myself with associated with this word now. So how are you guys going to tackle that?
I've thought about this a lot. Like in the past, I've had, questions on whether, we should be associating with cannabis in general, just because I'm like, I don't want people to think that they can, potentially fail a drug test using our stuff. However, it is relatively the same plant. They're both cannabis. Hemp is just cannabis without THC in it, or very, very small amounts, I should say. And the benefits of both those plants are different. So CBD is not very good at relieving pain. It's great at reducing inflammation. THC is not very good for helping you sleep, but it's great to help you relax before you go to sleep. It's great with pain relief. It's way better at pain relief than CBD is. So they are push and pull, and talking about one without the other is a mistake. It's just unfortunate that we don't have policies and things that can allow us to use both. That allow us to use THC the same as we use CBD, because CBD is a little bit less controversial, still controversial, but it's a lot less controversial than THC is. So, I'm a big proponent of it, but I'm not saying that it should be just one without the other. That's all. So I think making that delineation is important.
And I forced him into it.
And
that's part two.
She forced me into it.
Yeah, that's the short answer. That's the good answer that we all know is behind the scenes.
No, but I just want to touch on that for a second, because I've had a ton of opportunity because Steph has brought me in on stuff, and like we've presented at Beaver Creek in Ohio because she put it out there, and now that we're doing this stuff here, and they kind of gave her the reins with this area, it's pretty cool that we get to do it. So it's a good thing that we have these talks coming up, but I don't know how much of it would happen if she didn't she wasn't kind of given the reins for this whole thing at Firefighter Nation. So it's pretty cool.
One of the reasons I brought him in on it is because, like you said, people already confuse CBD and THC together. So being able to educate people on the huge differences between the two was what I wanted to accomplish while educating people with THC. Because for me, I personally have never used THC because I want to be able to say that to people who are arguing and fighting that, hey, you just want to get high. I've made that choice so that I can always say, hey, I'm a soccer mom and I've never used it, but I believe in it. I've seen it work for so many of my coworkers and friends, but I did use CBD big time for the inflammation with one of my last injuries. And it just made a night and day difference when Motrin and other traditional things weren't helping. And it allowed me to sleep and just it took that big edge off. The pain was still there, but it took that just anxious, full of pain edge off. So that was really why I brought John in, is because I feel like you can't talk about one without the other because so many people are so confused on the two.
All right, so are you guys going to play like, are you doing like a good cop, bad cop thing for the presentation? Or are you like, Stephanie's going to talk about it and get people right to the edge, and John's going to be like, well, it's safe over here in CBD land. Let's just talk to me for a little bit, and then Stephanie will ramp him back up again? Or what's your tactic for presenting this stuff?
I don't think that was it.
Yeah, I don't think we have a tactic. That wasn't it. So he's the science nerd, and I'm the policy nerd. Okay. I think between the two of us, and then I think we both come together for like the not anti-pharma. It's not that at all. But certain medications weren't designed for firefighters to use. SSRIs, there are medications out there that common medications that firefighters are prescribed, and I can name, a dozen of my friends on them. that specifically say on the label, do not use in a high heat environment. This medication will mess with your hypothalamus. You're going to have excessive sweating and you won't be able to handle high heat. I'm sorry. I don't know if you know what suppression involves, but so really that's where we kind of meet in the middle of, no, we're not anti-medication, but the scientific community doesn't look at what it is we do with these medications. So just finding a better common ground for firefighters in research.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all about having the options, right? That's what Angie and I talk about with fitness a lot, is like, it's very rare that we're going to tell people not to do something. Like, I personally don't love CrossFit, but it's because of the CrossFit practitioners. It's not because of what CrossFit is as a workout tool, right? So you can tell people, like, stay away from specific administrations or ways to do it. But in general, the more tools, the better, because you can always find a good way to administer or apply any tool that's out there, right?
Right.
Angie, what do you want to know about their talk? Because it's coming up. This is actually going to come out Wednesday, and your guys' talk is Thursday. So we got a chance to talk to people hours before you hit the stage and do this. Yep. So what do you got, Angie?
Well, without you guys obviously giving me the whole speech, I would love to know kind of your ideas. I mean, what are you trying to present to them as far as policies go, or what's going to be, what your advice is when using the CBD, or if you are going to talk about THC on an off-duty thing. So I'm just really curious about kind of how you're going to buy your audience with this.
I think for me, on the policy side of things with THC, because there is a CBD THC line between us, I take more the THC, state laws in terms of testing limits for being a positive test. Certain states are no tolerance. You can't even have any in your system if you're driving. So how the body metabolizes it, what a safe thing to do for your state is if it's no tolerance, and you have an injury, just really how to keep firefighters safe if their department does have a policy. But then if your department doesn't have a policy, what should be in it? What's going to keep you out of trouble? And by trouble, I mean with your employer, right? I don't mean somebody's going to use THC and go off the deep end. I mean, how do we keep everybody gainfully employed, and also have it have the maximum impact?
Yeah. From my side, as far as research goes, I think people don't understand, both with THC and CBD, the differences, or like how some of the benefits could potentially impact us during and even after retirement. You'd mentioned something, oxidative stress, and I think we don't address it enough, and how it's constantly at a chronically high level, and basically puts firefighters in a constant state of inflammation throughout their entire career.
Yep.
And there's good ways to fix it. And and I know you guys are the same way, but I'm not like a magic bullet kind of person where it's just like, just take this one thing or do this one thing and it'll fix all your problems. But addressing particularly why CBD and cannabinoids in general are so important for helping correct some of the homeostasis imbalances that we go through, because we do an unnatural job. In an ideal world, you would not need any supplements.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course. I mean,
Ideally.
I would love a research project to go on with like firefighters who do take CBD regularly over years, because I would love to see how many diseases, or because obviously with the stuff that we do, if someone has like an underlying autoimmune or underlying things, like this job is going to bring all that stuff out. I'd be very curious of people with the regular use of CBD throughout their career, how many diseases don't happen, or maybe are very much more prolonged coming out in the fire service. So I hope in the future some kind of research project or study can be done on that. I know it's really hard for us to be waiting for some of these people who have this stigma still around CBD or THC, that are still hanging around the departments, and we have to kind of like wait till they trickle out and stuff. And that can be really hard, because I feel like even if you put the flat out evidence in front of them, it's a really tough buy-in for that.
2 or 3 years ago, we actually talked to a major research university, and they wanted to do a study. It was Johns Hopkins, because they have a cannabis research department. And the problem was just how do you get the funding for something like that? So
Yeah,
there are researchers out there who really want to study this, and I know you're actually involved with one right now.
We're in the middle of one right now.
Yeah. So it's a matter of getting funding for something like that because there are right now federal issues with it. So
we are the first CBD brand to study CBD on firefighters.
that's awesome.
It's been going on for just about a year. We're on a safety profile level, just kind of showing it doesn't cause failed drug tests, because that's obviously the most important one. If you can show that that's the case, if you make it properly, then the next steps come in with research, with sleep, and with inflammation and everything else. But it's run by the University of Arcadia, it's outside of Philadelphia, and the University of Maryland. I got an email yesterday saying Dartmouth may be coming on board as well, which is really cool. So the more people, they want a lot more subjects. So it's a groundbreaking study because it's never been done before, but also they're understanding more about metabolites and how CBD moves through the body and things like that. So besides that, I'm running the I guess the business end of it, or where like getting volunteers, collecting all the samples, getting all the paperwork done. So starting to see why they wanted me to do this study with them, because they're like, sure, we'll do the study with you. Are you willing to?
Yeah.
So anyway, but we're getting more volunteers, and we're showing that it's safe for the job. The data is back. We just haven't. It's not published yet, and they want more. So
wow,
we are doing stuff like that,
that's awesome.
and I think so. We're the first CBD brand ever to do it, and specifically with firefighters. So we will start with this, but I hope to do exactly what you're saying in the future.
That's awesome. I love that.
John, you put a lot of praise for Stephanie, which is fine. I mean, it's fine. She's cool, but I want to bring it back to a year ago, dude. And I just thought about this when you were talking. 1 year ago, was it 1 year ago or 2 years ago? Was the absolute apocalypse for your...
That was 2 years ago.
So
it's actually 3. It's 2022. I remember it very well.
Just give me a quick, brief rundown of what you've seen change, or what's changed, obviously, with the company in those 3 years since the worst case scenario happened at FDIC and you had to scrap basically your whole business.
Everything.
Yeah.
All the way till now. I mean, it's just light years ahead, even in a couple of years, right?
Yeah, it is. Besides the fact that, and I mean, we see this every year we come up here, is the general tone for how people view cannabis in general, but also especially CBD, is so much better every year we come up here.
Cool.
And it's obviously shown because we're doing this talk, on Thursday, which is great. However, what it did for the company is it changed wholesale how we operate. We actually brought all manufacturing in-house. We allowed other people to take our CBD and kind of make stuff with it. And we stopped doing that for this reason. So we brought in everything, which was a huge investment for me. But, getting a team of people and not letting anybody else touch any chain of custody of the product has been huge. And also, we don't commit to coming up here without testing it and having it in hand 4 months before now.
Right.
But, I was learning at the time, and we were a smaller company, and, running out of stock was something that we had to deal with a little more. And now that we're more well established, we usually don't run out of stock. We handle stuff. So it was more of a business side that I had to learn how to do stuff. But then just the overall tone at FDIC of how people view everything, it's been really great. So it's both of those things.
That's awesome, dude. And Steph, on your side, what are you seeing? I mean, you've taken the reins of Firefighter Nation. You're pushing people like us up from the bottom. You're digging us up from the bottom of the ocean and putting us on a little bit of floating coral. What have you seen the past couple of years? You're at a point now where you're like, you're it, man. You're making big changes and big impacts. So what's your view?
So this FDIC is pretty cool for me because it was a year ago that we didn't even have a logo. So we were arguing about it over emails back and forth between everybody at FDIC trying to decide a final logo. And I bullied them into the Firefighter Nation Scramble that we now have. And it's been 6 months since we relaunched and brought on people like you and Angie. And it's been crazy. I think the project has been going on for about 18 months now, maybe, overall, where I've gotten a really up-close view of the health and wellness world and the fire service, and just seeing we always talking about getting a certain generation that you know, the oh, you're smoking pot on duty people out of the firehouse. But it's been really interesting to also see that generation starting to look at health and stuff a different way. So that is something I do want to acknowledge, especially with THC. I feel like we're slowly winning a lot of those people over, Angie, to mention your comment earlier, but it's just been a blast over the past year to see how many more people are really deciding that their health is worth it, and it's no longer something that's, you know, weak or suck it up buttercup. It's like, listen, all my buddies are broken or dying of cancer or limping out of the firehouse. Like, maybe we should actually start paying attention to this stuff. Right. So it's been really neat. This is my third FDIC to see all these different health classes popping up in the main conference, and then to have created this stage where we didn't want it to be big. We wanted it to be smaller conversations for people to be able to ask questions without, you know, if you've ever been in an FDIC classroom, it's huge. It's set up for like 100, 200 people, and everybody's kind of nervous. Yeah. No matter who the instructor is, to, you know, finally raise their hand and ask a question. And health deserves to be addressed. It deserves to be a space where people can ask questions. Nobody feels belittled, because I mean, we are just chronically sick, the level of inflammation. So it's really exciting to be here with John, to be having these kinds of conversations that we weren't even having these conversations a year ago. So I feel like we are making huge strides in the fire service to just listen. It's not weak to pay attention to your health. Yeah. Gone is the attitude of, oh, well, I'm going to die anyway. You know, it's fine.
Oh, I hate that attitude.
No,
you do not have to have that attitude. And just because you get in this doesn't mean that you have to die from it.
Right? Yep. We can have a really cool, slightly dangerous career and still go on to have a retirement and a life afterwards.
Yeah. Have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's such an awesome venue you guys are putting together, because it's not like other FDIC presentations where you're not going and listening to some guy from a big city who's vented 1,000 roofs, you know, and you're like, well, I've only done it twice, so I got to listen to this guy. Everybody in that room is woken up with pain, and everybody in the room is woken up with fatigue or signs of depression or something like that, where they can all relate. So it's not this coveted information that only a few of us in the fire service have. It's something we all share. And so, to be able to give everybody equal footing on access to it is just the right way to do it. And it looks awesome. You guys are doing awesome. I have one other question before we leave. So, Angie, if you have anything else, throw it in there, because I'm going to close out.
All I'm saying is team CBD, less alcohol. More CBD, less alcohol.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah. So my closing question to you guys.
Not get Stephanie fired.
We won't. We're not posting this.
You can't fire yourself. All right. Well, I'll close it out then. Thank you, guys. This is, truly, the three of us would not be in the same room with Stephanie, with the Queen, if she didn't reach out and bring us all on board. And I want to have a follow-up conversation with you two in like a week or so that we can use for Firefighter Nation. We'll keep that one much more palatable to the general public. Besides the stuff we cut out. If you're listening to this, there was a major cut in there, and it was an abrupt and a harsh cut.
We got to learn new terms.
And we had some vocabulary lessons.
To the rest of the country. They don't translate.
Some Midwest regional vocabulary lessons, and I have a lot of buttons to get rid of now. But
oh God.
But I want to do a follow-up conversation with this and see how it went, because I'm curious to see the conversations you guys have afterwards, like at the bar or hanging out in the stage, and people come up to you and how that goes. Because I have a feeling, and I'm hoping you're going to get some changed minds out there. I think you're going to get a lot of support, but I'd love to hear too if you get anybody that's like, nope, you're still wrong. I'm still not buying it. And that will lead, knowing the both of you, that will lead to a long conversation with that person. That's the kind of stories I'd like to hear about.
I won't spoil the ending, but I've seen this movie before. I know how it ends.
Yeah, that's good.
I get told them wrong a lot.
That's good. Well, this is the fourth chapter of it, so we're excited to read the fourth chapter.
Awesome.
You guys got anything else you want to leave with, or else we're out of here? This is awesome.
Hey, really sorry that you guys couldn't make it
Oh
Just
yeah.
seeing you
Been
guys
good.
here.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. I
We're-
really, really wish that I was there right now. I'm very disappointed.
I'm just saying, Chris,
Um,
you could have come here without Andy.
we talked about
I
it.
did tell
We
him
talked
that.
about
I
it.
was like, why are you not going?
We talked about it.
But I mean, maybe the whole button thing, maybe that's a good thing that you didn't.
That would
So
have been amazing.
I just want to thank you guys, honestly, though, for real, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys both so much for everything that you guys do for the fire service as a whole. You guys are making impacts. So thank you guys very much for what you do.
Means a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.